Hi guys, so I'm continuing my style icon series, and today we're gonna talk about Bette Davis. I can tell you during this research I was so amazed. I was totally fascinated by what I saw. This style they created for all those Hollywood stars. They definitely considered every bit of her body and they were squeezing the best out of that. And I can see this now. Of course, the dresses and the pieces of clothes were pretty similar. They were pretty limited in the way they created the fashion. But each one of them has her own signature details. And we're gonna talk, of course, more. I'm gonna continue this series. We're gonna see more of the examples of those classic Hollywood divas. But today's style icon, Bette Davis, that really blew me away. I'll show you now, you'll like it. So I'm gonna leave the link on all the videos of this series down below so you would check the rest. So Bette Davis was born in 1908. And she had more than 50-year filming career. Can you imagine this? Grace Kelly had just several years. I think 4 years or something, or 6 years of filming career. So it was actually pretty short time. And Bette Davis was just, her whole life was basically a filming career. And as you know, guys, we are not only gonna talk about the fashion, but we're also gonna talk about the body type that she had. But not those regular body types like asparagus or rectangular or apple-shaped. We're gonna talk about Kibbe body types, but you don't have to know my Kibbe series. I'm gonna leave the link down below if you're interested though. Because basically I'm just gonna add a little bit information about the body type that she had. So David Kibbe himself, he typed her as soft gamine. So what does it mean? Like we have 5 main body types. It's classic, natural, gamine, romantic, and dramatic. So gamine is basically smallest type. They are like teenage girls. Not literally, she's not literally like a teenage girl, but she, like the bone structure is smallish and slightly angular. So if we talk about soft gamines, it's a gamine with some softness. Soft gamines are normally the most petite types. Normally, they can be higher, but normally they can be very petite. They have very short arms and legs. They can have slightly sharp shoulders, and they can be slightly angular in their jawline, for example, slightly angular in their chin, and in their shoulders. There can be some sharpness or angularity, and on top of those sharp bones there's some soft flesh. And many soft gamines look cute, maybe I can say so, doll-like. I don't know how to say this, but definitely it's different from romantics. You remember when I talked about Elizabeth Taylor? They have a little bit different essence, because romantics are not as sharp and angular as soft gamines. Soft gamines, they kind of like little girls, but there's some drama in them. They are tiny, they can be pretty puffy or they can be pretty thin, but still having pretty delicate bones. It can show in their essence, you know, it can show in the way they talk, in their sense of humor, and you will see it now. You will see the difference of Bette Davis now and Elizabeth Taylor if you watch that video, and I recommend you to watch it because you will see the difference. Bette Davis was really small. She was 5'2" or 157 centimeters. She had sharp bones, she was short, she had soft flesh and doll-like features. She has huge eyes, tiny nose, big cheeks. She had some figure, some angularity in the shoulders. However, the shoulders were pretty narrow and pretty sharp here. Sharpness in her chin. Let's check her in the 30s decade. So if we check the casual looks, as I talked in several of my previous videos of the same series, see, there was not the very wide variety of things that you could wear at that time, especially casual clothes. It was all very close. 30s, 40s, it was kind of limited on what you could buy in the shops. And pretty often, like, somebody just gave you some clothes to wear after they just grown up, you know, like boys or girls. So sometimes you could see women, but with slightly men's or like boyish clothes, men's pants, for example. So in those years, in the 30s, I didn't see Bette Davis wearing actually thin, narrow pants. I could see her only wearing big pants, and I think this is the time when women started incorporating the pants into their look. After Chanel did this with like men's pants like that, so women also started adding that into their wardrobe. So those pants in the 30s and the 40s, is, if you remember, they were huge, big like that. They were wide, they were long. At that time they didn't have yet that well-tailored pants that were narrowed down to the ankle, that were cropped, that had some pleats. So that happened later in the 50s, but in the 40s, no. They just had the belt that would secure pants on their bum so they would not fall down, basically like this. And my idea is probably just women especially in the 40s when men started going to war, women just were wearing their husband's pants, and they were so wide so they could fall down, so they would wear belt. But the pants themselves, they were very huge, and they were so long so they would just lie on the ground. So she could wear basically her short jeans and boots, and with that she could have her glamorized hair, and she could wear some very simple shirt, very simple pants or wide jeans and man boots. And what I love about her is like that sense of humor. So everything is right there on the border between the glam and absurd. She's not strictly following that classic glam that was very popular throughout those years. I didn't see her very much in a flapper girl dresses. Actually, I could see her mostly with waist emphasis. I don't know if that was just her, or at the time it was not very popular already to have this pretty straight dress, but we're gonna find out. Now look at that, guys. I think this is a piece of art. Basically, this is a suit. She has a very long jacket with loads of buttons that start underneath her chest, that has waist emphasis tailored that way, very well tailored that way around her waist. And then she has the blouse, and she has that short and super wide black tie. This is like they were dressing a doll. Something is very huge, something is super small. This is the essence of soft gamines. This is their difference from romantics. And basically the way Hollywood people at that time feeling the person, the way they felt, the bone structure, the essence, the way she talked, the roles that they gave her to play, how she acted in interviews and all that stuff, everything mattered. Everything mattered, and she was dressed accordingly, which is unbelievable. Or here, what we see, dress with long sleeves, cropped jacket with huge buttons, big collar, huge fur trim sleeves on this tiny body. But you see how they shape the whole outfit. If she looks stunning with that huge fur trim, it doesn't mean that this tiny body looks stunning with everything huge, of course. This is the way you built the outfit, and where do you put those accents. She still looks like a doll, but with this very contrasted and popping out trim, which is absurdly too big. The buttons that are too big, too loud, too big buttons, but it is incorporated in a smaller shape, for example. Small hat and contrasted gloves. It's like big elements on small elements, like her huge eyes on that small face. I found loads of pictures of her from the back, and the dresses that were made for her, they had very interesting back, very elongated back.
Back plunger, plunger, back collar, back hole.
Her back was opened, and they had such a beautiful trim around that thing, and the back of the dress itself was like an art piece. So they were making pictures of her sitting like that. Another interesting thing, not every star would be photographed in this kind of a pose. That's what I noticed too. And Bette Davis was photographed as a little girl that was slightly scared, having that very playful eyes at the same time, being slightly unserious about everything that's going on, being so unsafe and innocent at the same time, like a little girl, you see? And I do think that was made on purpose, and I do think that is her personality, this is her essence. Most of the dresses had waist emphasis, and all of the dresses that I saw had interesting trim, contrasted trim of the dresses. Sometimes it would be a brooch, and most of the trim was rounded shape, like in big round shape. For example, it would be big buttons, big round buttons, or round something. Her hair was wavy, short most of the time, and pretty often it was tousled, because she started, I think, a little bit earlier than Marilyn Monroe and Elizabeth Taylor, a couple of decades earlier. So at that time, sometimes some curls, it was pretty stylish when they were slightly frizzy, or how to say it, like slightly tousled, probably because of that, or maybe because of that thing that she was incorporating totally opposite things in one look. Makeup, thin, dark brows, and spider lashes. The more mascara, the better. Another opposite thing, that is her glam. That is a glam of soft gamine. She didn't try to do this sexy bedroom eyes with thin and wispy lashes like Marilyn would do or Liz Taylor would do. It was like 100 coats Sometimes she would use some eyeshadow too. Sometimes she would do eyeshadow on the bottom too of her eyes, which actually made them pop even more. I think because her eyes are huge, so she was doing that smoky eye and opened her eyes even more. Now we can see men's style, like Charlie Chaplin style, which looked amazing on her. They didn't go for big shapes. All the shapes are tiny and small and cute. Yeah, so the jacket that really fits her shoulders, the hat which is rounded and smallish, just exactly for her head, white gloves, jumpsuit with stripes, high-waisted jumpsuit, and some platform shoes. This trend is back. We can see so many jumpsuits nowadays in the shops. In the 40s, look at that wedding dress. That is her wedding dress. If you tell me that this is not her sense of humor, she's actually wearing gray suit with huge shoulder pads, and she puts huge white flower at the front of her suit, and she's getting married in that. So look at the contrasted elements. They're big, they're not tiny. If we look at the suits, for example, in the 40s, belt, scarf, basic shirt, basic blazer, but she's adding something interesting on top, some accessories, some bright and different things, like a scarf or a belt. Something is in there, and something is not necessarily small. Something big. Blouse can be very feminine blouse with shoulder pads. In the 40s, they started wearing shoulder pads, so we can see blouses with shoulder pads. Color blocks. Again, she would experiment with colors. But again, huge buttons. Just look at those buttons. Her shirts or her blouses, they were very interesting. Some of them were stripy, not very symmetrical. They had some very interesting trim, original trim. The pattern has never been huge though. I noticed that the pattern is like from middle to smallish. It's just some additions that she was adding could be like pretty big, like buttons or brooches or something else. 50s, she got older, she started growing her hair. I think her look became a little bit more mature, but it was same interesting details by her face. Big bow, for example, brooch. She loved big bows. If we go to the 60s, of course 60s is the time of contrast and geometry. Look at that makeup. She didn't do that very trendy 60s. She incorporated 60s into her look that was already created, and she kept doing what she was doing. She would just add a little things. For example, that hairband, that straight hair, volumized hair, pretty blunt hair, red lips, pearl necklace. But it's pinned to her dress. It's not pearl necklace like Grace Kelly would probably wear, in a very classic manner. That would look amazing at classics. That very simple classic manner of wearing things. But in this case, no, it's pinned to her dress. She could combine things that are not combined normally. For example, she could wear, again, pearl, very classic necklace, but stripy shirt. Stripes and pearl necklace, two things that normally never go together, but in soft gamine vibe, it works. And then those tiny glasses. Again, bright trim, big bows, contrast. 70s and 80s. Leopard print coat, of course. On my every style icon video, I think I'm showing you leopard. Up to now, everyone had it. She still would rock her makeup. Her makeup was chunky, huge eyeliners. She could bring some colors in the 80s too, because 80s was the time when women experimented a lot with different colors on their eyes. So she also would be on trend. So she could have like a huge purple eyeliner on her eyes. And when I say huge, I mean huge. She still could have some very funny, interesting details like heart made with buttons, for example, on her shirt. Or this kind of look, huge earrings and the rest is small. Interesting contrasted jacket. Turtleneck with big buttons around her chest. Or turtleneck with pearls on the shoulders. So I think she looked like a button herself. Her shoes were pretty delicate, but they were not sharp looking. Like, for example, Grace Kelly, or sometimes Sophia Loren, or Elizabeth Taylor, or Marilyn Monroe. She had that pretty rounded and very cute, like a doll-like shoes sometimes. And sometimes she could wear something chunky, or boots, like chunky boots, something with a platform, something bigger. It's one of the reasons I'm wearing this kind of neckline today. I think it's called scallop. So this is that kind of a trim. She would have all those kind of interesting colors around here. If we talk about jewelry, I've seen her with medallions, which are round medallions, and pretty big actually. Most of them are big. I didn't see her with those tiny small pieces, like small earrings or something small here. No, mostly I've seen her with big, large medallions or big beads. Her earrings, for example, she could have some hoops. Actually, that looks pretty modern nowadays. She could have some small hoops and they are splitty chunky, pretty wide. Not that thin and very delicate hoops, you know? I could hardly see her with delicate things. She would always pump it up. She could wear just a simple dress. Very classic dress, but huge flower on top. Or very normal dress, but diagonal pockets. Like funny pockets, as if somebody just didn't know how to put pockets on the dress and they did it, and they turned it, for example. You see, that kind of a sense of humor was added in there. Belt, buttons, all that is contrasted. And casual suits, for example, they had cropped top and a skirt. And as you know, guys, after I research about those stars, I then go over a lot of modern shops and I'm trying to find very similar staple pieces, like a wardrobe pieces that for sure would look great on that type of a body. And I'm gonna leave the link on this board down below. If you go to my Pinterest, you just click in there. So the board is called Wardrobe for the Body Types. If you find soft gamine under there, so you will see how, like, what kind of pieces I chose in modern shops right now that are pretty trendy, that look exactly or very similar to what she had at that time so long ago. So please welcome to the board. I'm gonna leave all the links down below under this video and also in the comment section, or there. You can always go there because I'm constantly adding new pieces. If we talk about glasses, most of the time they were small, rounded, or cat eye glasses. If we talk about her bags, I could hardly see her with big bags or with classic bags. So normally that was cute, smallish bags, but that's Bette Davis. Thank you so much for watching, guys. And I hope you enjoyed these videos and I hope you also see what I see. And I hope that does add to your overall vision in the whole fashion area, because it's very important when you train your vision, you start seeing things that you didn't see before and you start being more pro, if I can say so, in your own kind of fashion game. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Subscribe on my Pinterest for 13 boards as an inspiration for the body types. Also, you can subscribe on my Instagram. All the links I'm gonna leave down below. Also, you can become my sponsor or subscribe on my Patreon for some exclusive videos, some early access to these videos, and just if you want to support me and my channel. Thank you so much, guys, and I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.